The realization did not come in a single moment of clarity, like a light switched on in a dark room. It came the way that most catastrophic truths come to men who have invested everything in a different outcome. Gradually, against resistance, through the accumulation of evidence that the mind works to reinterpret, that professional training works to contextualize, and that the political environment works to suppress, until the accumulation becomes too heavy to manage, and the truth sits in the chest like a stone that cannot be removed. For different men in the German High Command, the moment of irreversible private understanding arrived at different points in the war, shaped by their positions, their access to information, and their capacity for honesty in a system that punished honesty. Some reached it at Stalingrad. Some reached it earlier, in December 1941, before Moscow, when the summer's assumptions were buried in Russian snow. A few reached it even earlier, during the planning of Barbarossa, when logistics failed to support ambition. General Franz Halder saw it early, and could not act on it. Halder had been Army Chief of Staff since 1938, the intellectual center of the German Army. He brought to Barbarossa meticulous analysis, wargaming, logistics, and assessment. His private calculations showed risks the official plan ignored. The plan assumed Soviet collapse. Halder knew the margin was too narrow. He executed it anyway. Refusing Hitler was impossible. The system offered no safe mechanism for dissent. He watched summer success bury doubt. Then winter came. The Soviets did not collapse. Reserves appeared. Counteroffensives began. In his diary, Halder recorded the truth. Hitler dismissed him in September 1942. Honesty was replaced. Compliance remained. Halder knew the war was unwinnable. He could not say so without destroying himself. Field Marshal Erich von Manstein occupied a different position. He was the most gifted German commander. His brilliance delayed his acceptance of defeat. He believed skill could compensate for disadvantage. At Kharkov in 1943, he proved it, briefly. But he knew the balance was shifting. Production, manpower, learning curves, all moved against Germany. No brilliance could reverse it. He argued for flexibility, trade space for time, preserve strength. Hitler refused. Their conflict defined the Eastern Front. Manstein was dismissed in March 1944. An irreplaceable voice was lost. General Kurt Zeitzler replaced Halder. He understood. He suffered. For 2 years he managed the gap between reality and orders. It broke him. In June 1944, he collapsed. Kursk, in July 1943, clarified everything. Operation Citadel was meant to restore initiative. Heinz Guderian opposed it. The Soviets were prepared. The defenses were unprecedented. The attack failed. Losses were enormous. Kursk confirmed what many already knew. Germany could no longer win offensively. General Walter Warlimont saw the whole picture: East, Africa, Atlantic, Italy, bombing, fuel, infrastructure, all collapsing, every front degraded simultaneously. Field Marshal von Rundstedt warned that Normandy could not be defeated. He advised withdrawal. He was dismissed, replaced. His successor later committed suicide. By late 1944, briefings had become performances. Bad news was packaged, good news exaggerated. Reality softened. Guderian became Chief of Staff in July 1944. He knew collapse was irreversible. He argued for consolidation. He was ignored. He stayed, out of duty. The Ardennes offensive was self-deception, privately called a bluff, executed anyway. Failure exhausted the last reserves. Afterward, only defeat management remained. General Alfred Jodl understood everything. He lacked moral independence. He obeyed. He was later judged complicit. Understanding did not lead to resistance, it led to compliance. Those who spoke honestly were removed. Those who adapted survived. By 1945, the High Command executed irrational orders knowingly. They signed surrender in May 1945. Men who had known for years, since Moscow, since Stalingrad, since Kursk, since Normandy. They had understood. They had continued. That was the tragedy. They served a system that made obedience safer than conscience. They lacked the moral independence to stop. The war ended in ruins. They lived with knowledge, in prison, on trial, in memoirs, in memory. Men who had done their duty, for a cause that duty alone could never justify.